Hey comic lovers, EMoney and the old man back with you again for another episode of Back Issues.
Well, whose idea was it to film out here? It's hot.
Well, we had to film out here this week because we didn't have our garage set up because we're filming on a Sunday because I went to Lexington this weekend for the Lexington Comic and Toy Show.
It sounds a little bit like he went on vacation again.
Little mini vacation, but we're still filming.
You realize when you go on vacation, somebody's got to pay the price for that.
And I guess we're doing it now in this heat.
Right.
All right, so had a great time. I met stars from don't hit your head. He hit his head. It's okay. All right, I met stars from Titans, Supernatural, Walking Dead. Yeah, it's okay. I met a couple voice actors. It was a good time. Hey, come on.
Knucklehead.
Thor here. He's had some minor progress. We went on a walk the other day. He saw a dog, and no aggression. He said hi to our neighbor Stag over here, another dog, and he was really good with him. So good socialization, exactly what we want to see with Thor at this point. So good work on Thor, and we have the trainer coming later this week to see him. All right, so today we have our usual comic book reviews. We have our comic previews, and special treat, we are giving our review of Shang Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Cool, and no thing with the old man, no quiz.
We do have a Stump the Old Man question a little later on.
Well, you didn't say it, so it shouldn't
It's
happen.
a themed Stump the Old Man question too. All right, Thor wants to get out of the heat, so we're gonna make this quick. Remember, when it comes to zombies, even super zombies, always aim for the head. This is Back Issues. All right, comic lovers. So before we get started today, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on your notifications, give us a thumbs up, and if you like, leave us a comment. Give us your recommendations for some comic books, or tell us what you think of the ones we review today. All right, so before we get into comic books, we have to get into our movie review this week, and we are talking about Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. All right, so jumping into this.
Hold on. Huge spoiler alert.
Oh, right,
Put
spoilers.
the words up in
Yeah.
flashing neon
Spoilers,
or
yeah.
put something.
Yeah,
You
so
don't want to know.
Yeah.
It's your fault if you find something out.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, I went to great lengths to not find anything out for this movie.
All right, so spoiler alert, going into Shang-Chi. All right, so I thought this was a near perfect introduction into Marvel Phase 4. We have our first Asian-led MCU film with Simu Liu. I'm probably butchering the name again.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, and Awkwafina lead the cast, and we've had our female-led superhero movies with Black Widow. We had a black-led movie with Black Panther.
Kind of forever.
Yeah, and now we're getting Asian-led with Shang-Chi. And I thought Simu Liu, Shang-Chi, and Awkwafina, Katie, make a near-perfect action and comedic duo in the film.
You know that I'm not a huge fan of comic relief. See Jar Jar Binks. I like a little bit.
Yeah.
But don't overdo it. And I thought this was a nice mix. I mean, it wasn't too heavy-handed, but it was there. So I was all right with that.
And I really enjoyed Awkwafina's character because she's not all comedy. It's like she does, she's not a liability. I mean, there was the scene outside of the nightclub where she's hanging off of the poles, where he had to rescue her, but she's not a liability the entire film. Like the scene with the bus, she hops into the driver's seat and does what she needs to do to save everybody.
Yeah, let's face it, Shang-Chi was a little bit busy to take care of the bus.
Yeah, and despite not having, grown up in this life and having no training for most of the movie, she still, has that personality where she does what she has to do.
And whoever was the choreographer for the fight scene on the bus, hats off to you. I think you were in the same caliber as the Punisher prison fight scene, and the Daredevil hallway fight scene.
I heard they took a lot of inspiration from Jackie Chan films for that scene.
As those other ones did too, I'm sure.
So, great on Awkwafina's character, And
don't you have?
well, I'm going to get to that in a little bit here.
Okay.
So if you avoided enough of the spoilers, and side note, stop spoiling things in the trailers, Marvel.
That's why I didn't watch a single trailer for this movie. Thanks to EMoney, you kind of shielded me from it.
I mean,
no, never saw one.
Putting Wong and Abomination in the trailer is not going to make anyone want to see the movie any more than they already do.
And I want you to know, not knowing that was coming, huge surprise to me. And I loved it.
Yeah. So anyway, if you avoid the trailers and the spoilers, seeing Abomination after over a decade in MCU limbo was nice.
Oh, way over a decade.
Yeah, he it was 2008, 2009 when the Hulk came out. So that was good, and also you get some could argue that Wong stole the show with 2 scenes.
Oh. Yeah.
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 Yeah. And if you also Ben Kingsley's part, that wasn't in the trailer, so that was a surprise for me too. And he's been missing for a long time, since Iron Man 3. He did the one of those Marvel shorts that they used to do, and that was the last we saw of him. And apparently he has been the prisoner of the real Mandarin for a long time.
Well, I mean, you say surprise. I wasn't that surprised by that. I mean, I didn't see it in the trailer, but it made sense.
Yeah, and I thought he was the real comic relief, not Awkwafina. He was straight up comic relief. Him and his creature dog thing that he hung out with.
Well, the little dog thing reminded me of the dog thing in that John Carter movie that was much better than the public acknowledged. But
I mean that dog was he was a warrior. He fought with John Carter in most of the scenes. This thing was just kind of hanging out.
They wouldn't have got through the woods without this thing.
That's true. All right, but that's neither here nor there. And going back to and the film is a little slow in some parts, usually explaining some character's backstory, but they almost always make up for it in the next scene.
Well, you can't keep that level of intensity going through the whole movie. I mean, which they try, but it's hard to do.
And, going back to Awkwafina here, I thought that we would lose track of Katie after the California scenes. He says, Shang Chi says he has to go and says goodbye to her, and that's that. But nope, I mean, she, says, I'm sticking with you for whatever. And I always love that kind of loyalty in a character. One example was in World War Z, the soldier that Brad Pitt's character saved in Jerusalem when she got bitten and he had to cut off her arm to save her. I mean, from then on, she was his guy. Whatever.
If he looked over his left shoulder, she was 2 feet away.
Yeah, she was sticking with him. Same thing with Jacopo in The Count of Monte Cristo. After he saved his life when they were supposed to fight to the death.
That's EMoney's movie. He's watched that thing 20 times.
Probably. But I always admire that kind of loyalty in a character. And, she, stuck with him for the whole movie, and, she made a shot at the end that would make Hawkeye envious.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. I won't say I'm proficient in bow and arrow, but I've used a bow and arrow before. And if I were to practice for about
A day and a half, like she did?
It would take me about 2 or 3 generations to make some of the shots she made.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's something to be said for natural talent, but,
Screw that. She's a mutant.
Yeah. So, love that. And on a personal note, and I will never not bring this up whenever Awkwafina comes up, I worked with Awkwafina a few years ago. I was working in LA, and we worked on her show, Talk Season 5. That's TAWK. And we filmed all around LA for 2 weeks, and it was mostly a good time. There was one day we filmed in Skid Row for some reason that was kind of scary. But, she was great to work with, and I actually did a scene with her when they were doing a scene with Jordan Rock, where they're giving relationship advice to people who come and ask, like Lucy in the Peanuts gang. and I got to ad-lib with her because, you know, the producers gave you a question to ask about your relationship, but everything else you do with the scene is totally up to you. So I got to go back and forth with her and Jordan, and it was a lot of fun. And I have a picture of that, of our scene together. I didn't get a selfie with her, and this is why. Because at the time, she was internet famous. She hadn't broken out yet. So I thought, you know, I take this picture, no one's gonna know who she is. So, you know, I'm not gonna get a picture at the wrap party with her. One of my greatest regrets to this day.
In other words, EMoney screwed the pooch.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's see if we can't fix this. So, if you're watching this video,
Don't know why she would, but okay.
I wasn't even going to try to reach out to Awkwafina herself.
Okay.
But if you know somebody who knows Awkwafina's agent or a cousin of the agent's, or maybe even the agent's barber, if you could put the word through the channels that EMoney needs an autograph 8.5 by 11, preferably from Shang Chi, that would be wonderful. And if you'd be willing, what's that app that we use with the cosplayer?
Zoom.
Zoom. If you want to do a guest appearance on back issues with us, we can get you hooked up on Zoom, and we'll ask you a couple questions. We won't be doing any of that embarrassing ambush type of questions. And love to have you on the show. If you're ever in Louisville, we can put you right on the set. We can figure out how to do that. You know, I'll even grill out for you. How's that?
Dare to dream, right?
Like, what the hell? If we're going to build sky castles, let's
build
build big
high.
ones.
Yep. And, you know, if you need an extra on the next MCU movie, you know, I can make that happen too.
I know how to play an old man.
Yep. So, since I worked with Awkwafina, you know, obviously, you know, she broke out big. It was almost immediately after we did the internet show together. I mean, she was in, her first movie was in Neighbors 2, I think, after I worked with her. And it was a small part, but then it just took off. She was in Crazy Rich Asians, she was in Jumanji, and she was in Ocean's 8 with Sandra Bullock. And now she's a Golden Globe winner, and now she has broken into the MCU. So,
well, I'll be honest with you. Having watched her career since you met her, are you surprised? The girl's got skills.
Yep.
She's talented as I don't know what.
Yep.
Love
and
her.
you know, she is eccentric as hell. I mean, a lot of her characters are, you know, like she is in real life. You know, she is a very, you know, flamboyant person. So, Awkwafina, congratulations on all your success. All right, so back to Shang-Chi. Great movie, great introduction into Marvel Phase 4. Can't wait to see what happens next. And we are giving Shang-Chi 3 popcorns out of 4.
Remember, we don't score it the same way as you do the comics. Your best is only 4.
Right.
I have never given more than one movie in any given year 4 popcorns. In fact, there's been more years where there were no 4 popcorns than there were years where there was a 4 popcorn. So like Endgame was 3.5.
No, Endgame was 4.
That's right. It was one of the 4 in what was the one before?
Infinity War.
Infinity War got 3.5. So for this to get 3, that's ass kicking.
All right, so there's our review of Shang-Chi, still playing in theaters. Check it out if you haven't already. If you haven't already, then why are you watching us?
Right.
Yeah. All right, so on to our comic reviews for this week. And we have 3 mentions and 4, our top 4, because we had some ties this week. So remember, we grade comic books, not like our movies, we grade comic books on a 5 shield rating system. We each give it 2 grades, one for writing and story and another one for artwork. And then we combine those 4 scores together to give it an average score overall.
All right, so first we're going to do our honorable mentions. Right?
Our honorable mentions. This week it is honorable mentions because they were all good. Sometimes we don't call them honorable mentions, we just say mentions because sometimes
they suck.
Yeah, sometimes we want to talk about it because it was so bad. But everything good this week.
Right, all 3 of these comics that we're going to do as honorable mentions got 3.5 shields.
All right.
All right, first from Marvel. Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunter, number 4. Now, I'll be honest, we've been following this book all 4 issues, but we don't get all the crossovers. Like one came out this week featuring Boosh. Some Star Wars character who I don't know.
Yeah, we're not up on all of the Star Wars supporting characters. Sorry to disappoint some of you Star Wars geeks out there. All right, so War of the Bounty Hunters number 4. So we see what happens when Han Solo's carbonated body is being fought over. You know, our heroes and Han's friends are trying to get it. Boba Fett obviously trying to get it. Even Darth Vader himself is after it. And it's not the linear path from Bespin to Tatooine with Jabba's palace that we are led to believe in the movies.
Oh, the movies left a whole lot out of the story.
Yeah, and we see characters from other stuff that you might not have expected to see here show up again from movies that were not the original trilogy. So hintity hint on that. And so it's great stuff. The artwork, you know, getting the likeness of the characters from the movies is pretty spot on. You know, well done there. So, exciting stuff. Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters number 4, 3.5 shields out of 5.
All right, next up from DC, it's a limited series. This is number 4 out of 8. This is more EMoney's cup of tea than mine because it's kind of heavy.
Which is surprising because I haven't read a whole lot of Lobo.
No, he didn't go through Lobo in the 90s when every other week you started a new miniseries with Lobo, but he's actually enjoying this one. So, number 4 out of 8, Crush and Lobo.
All right. So, Crush and Lobo, number 4. So, Crush has been tricked by her father, Lobo, and her DNA scan, or whatever you call it, in the prison that Lobo was in, recognized her as Lobo, and Lobo as Crush. So, Lobo was basically just able to walk right out of there without any problems. And Crush has been in prison because the prison is almost completely automated with computers and androids. So when they scan her, they see Lobo, and because of what he did.
What they really see is her race. And since there's only 2 members of the race in existence, just as long as anybody registers as that race, they're going to think it's Lobo.
Well, he did something where he switched up the way the scanners would work.
Which, to be honest, isn't really in Lobo's character to plan some meticulous scientific solution. Usually he would just bust out.
Yeah. So we see her and make her plans to get out and, you know, exact her revenge on Lobo.
Yeah, she wants to kick Daddy's ass.
Absolutely. Don't blame her. And the action sequences, some of the shots where she's fighting somebody is really well done here. So, Crush and Lobo, number 4, 3.5 shields out of 5.
All right, next is one of the more consistent titles that we read. It's Daredevil number 34, also from Marvel.
All right, so in this issue, we're following pretty much 2 main stories here. One is Matt Murdock, Daredevil, who is in prison, and he's taking control of the prison. He started a riot because of all the inhumane things that the warden and the guards were doing.
Yeah, Matt couldn't put up with the shenanigans anymore.
Yeah, so one of the detectives, who I guess Matt knows, is sent in to negotiate with him. And first they get into a verbal debate, but then it comes down to fisticuffs. And I don't know what the background on this detective is, but you know, I feel like he's way out of his depth here taking on Daredevil. I mean, I don't care if he's, you know, ex-military or whatever.
Yeah,
that's
not a fair fight.
Yeah. So then we go to the other main story, which is Daredevil Elektra, who is hunting Bullseye, and Bullseye has managed to find a way to clone himself. And you know, there's at least 3 Bullseyes, maybe more.
Oh, I think there's a lot more.
Yeah, running around. So Elektra comes up with a plan to take all of them on, and she enlists the help of a few allies. She even got some nanotech from Tony Stark earlier on in the last issue, so that was kind of cool. So it comes down to a showdown in Times Square, and you know the whole city is on lockdown, so there's no one around except them.
So basically, you're saying she gets by with a little help from her friends.
Yep. And,
Joe Cocker song or a Beatles song? What did we decide?
I would say Beatles song.
Yeah, but who do you identify with when you hear that song?
Well, because they used Joe Cocker for the Wonder Years, most people hear Joe Cocker when they...
Just because that's his, like, key song.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's irrelevant to this plot line.
Right. All right, so Daredevil number 34, 3.5 shields out of 5.
All right, so that's the honorary mentions.
That is the honorable mentions this week. Now we go into our top 4.
All right. Now, normally it's top 3, at least that's what we try to do, but as you all, if you follow the channel, know, a lot of times there's ties, and this week, number 1 stood all by itself, but 2, 3, and 4 was a 3-way tie. Technically, they all got 4 shields, but by the time you round them, everybody got 4 shields. So, number 4, per EMoney, because we had our little contest, and in my insane moment or two, I think it's Alzheimer's or some old age thing, we had a slap off. Well, let's just say I needed some dental work anyway, so EMoney got to pick again. So, per EMoney, number 4 this week is The Joker Presents a Puzzlebox number 2.
All right, so just like in the first issue, Joker is in police custody, and apparently Edward Nygma, aka the Riddler, is dead. Somebody killed him, and the police want to know what happened. So Joker starts telling this story, and you have to take everything that Joker says at least with a grain of salt.
With a whole bucket of salt.
Yeah. So you don't know if any of this is true or not. And every time somebody goes into a flashback scene, the flashback gets taken over by a new artist. Which, since the precinct scene is so great, I'm not really crazy about the other artwork. So that kind of took away from a little bit for me. Also, they have Black Mask in prison, who in custody, who is somehow involved in this, and he's telling his own recollection of what happened.
And surprise, surprise, those 2 versions of the story differ greatly.
Yeah. So it's good storytelling, and you want to see this get sorted out and figure out what exactly happened. If hope we do eventually. So the Joker Puzzlebox number 2, 4 shields out of 5, our number 4 pick this week.
All right, now for our number 3 pick, one of our ongoing favorite books, along with Detective, would be Batman number 112. This variant has the Scarecrow with a little straw hat on.
Mm-hmm. All right, so this is part of the Fear State storyline, and the Scarecrow is trying to create panic all over Gotham City, not with his toxin like he normally would, just by creating misinformation and taking control of the media and doing a series of different things. Batman, who he did hit with his toxin, but Batman says it's not just the toxin. He says he's gotten into his head somehow, and he took control of the airwaves and pretended to be Oracle, saying that Batman is dead, and he's telling everyone in Gotham, don't trust the police, lock up your doors, stock up on guns, the water in your pipes is poison, and all kinds of stuff to try to create panic and a fear state. And the Bat family are looking to fight back, and also the magistrate who plays a part in this. I think they struck a deal with Scarecrow, and he was going to create this panic so that there would be a need for him. And obviously Scarecrow double-crossed them. Big surprise there. So they're trying to look like they have control when they don't.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. So I guess there are 3 parties playing a part in this story here. So interesting stuff. And also the backup story, a Clown Hunter story, is actually pretty good here.
We like the, what was it, Secret Files of Batman or something?
Mm-hmm.
The first appearance of Clown Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly good.
Yep. I'm pleasantly surprised on that one. All right, so our number 3 this week, Batman number 112, 4 shields out of 5.
All right, the number 2 spot, a book that has been in the top 3, I think every week has come out, and that is from DC's Black Label, The Nice House on the Lake, number 4.
All right, so in this issue, a lot, if I explain this to you guys if you've been watching our channel, the Nice House on the Lake follows a group of young individuals who were brought to a lake house by a mysterious individual, and seemingly the world ended around them while they were locked up in the lake house. Most of humanity has been wiped out, save, we think, for everyone in the lake house, which has, I think, around a dozen people in it.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
Yeah. And they're kind of like in a bubble where, they go around, they can go around the property of the lake house, and, the lake, they can, they have like a boat or two on the lake that they can take out, but they can't go beyond the bubble. And
pretty good sized bubble, but
yeah,
it's still a bubble.
Mm-hmm. So there's a delivery system that the individual that brought them all here uses. Basically, you write down whatever you want and leave it outside your door, and the next day it shows up, like every time.
As long as there's a period where no one's watching.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I'm going to call it the Santa Claus.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yep.
So at first they just did food and materials they needed, but eventually they got creative with it just to test out just how far they could go with it. One guy, he said he wants the first appearance of Batman, the first appearance of Superman, and the first appearance of Wonder Woman. All original. Yeah. Also, every Academy Award won by the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
And he wants all the clothes Leonardo DiCaprio packed for his last vacation.
Mm-hmm. And he was like, the most expensive watches money can buy, or the most expensive bottles of liquor money can buy. All that on his list. And I think they have not showed the comic books yet. I'm kind of curious to know if he got those or not.
He got it. He's getting everything else he asked for.
Mm-hmm. He asked for like crazy outfits every day. He's like going nuts with it.
I think he started with a zebra hat.
Yep.
And yeah, he got it.
And a suit with exclamation points all over it, and a mailman costume. And there was one scene where he's wearing the outfit from Ferris Bueller. So I assume he asked for that too. There are certain things that they won't let them have. Like one girl is overcome with depression after the end of the world, understandably, and she asks for a bullet and gun, and the guy won't give it to her.
Yeah.
So
that does not show up.
Yeah. Some things you can't get. So interesting delivery system, and end of the world aside, I wouldn't mind that.
And there's a pretty healthy twist at the end of this that
Mm-hmm.
I kind of saw coming, but it was still a nice reveal.
Yeah. All right, so Nice House on the Lake, and also we didn't mention the artwork. I feel like, it would be number 1 every week if the artwork were a little better.
See, I feel like the art suits the story, but could it be better? Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right, so Nice House on the Lake, number 4. Our number 2 pick this week with 4 shields out of 5. All right, so.
Oh, you want number 1?
Yeah.
Number one. Do the flashing one. Do something cool there. All right, from AWA, Not All Robots, number 2.
All right, so Not All Robots comes to us from most of the people who did the Redemption story that
Good book.
the old man and I enjoyed. So in this futuristic society, robots have pretty much taken over everything, and the humans have become kind of sedentary.
Kept people.
Yeah. If you watched not iRobot, WALL-E, the Disney movie, where everyone is resigned to running around in a floating chair, like nobody walks anymore. It's a very similar premise where we're completely reliant on robots now.
You have a robot in every household whose job is to go out and earn credits or whatever to keep the family going. And that robot does everything for the family other than change the channel on the video tape for them. And
when you give the robots personalities, that's gonna build up some resentment over time. So all of the cities and societies in this world are in a bubble. They're in a dome.
Yeah, because the environment's gone to crap.
Right. So, all the major cities have domes on them, and one of the robots in here did something to the oxygen in Orlando and caused like 200,000 people to die. Like everyone in the dome died, and that's what kind of sparks the resentment between the robots and the humans.
Yeah, you think some of the humans might have been a little upset by that?
Yeah, a little bit. And the family we're following, like the son in the family, he makes a good point where he's in school and he's getting training for these jobs that don't even exist anymore, and he feels like the schools are educating them just because they don't know what to do with the kids anymore, because there's nothing for them to do, just like any other human.
I mean, all they really need to do is teach them how to read, write, and tie their shoes.
So the resentment is growing on both sides, and the robots and the humans are both preparing for what they think is inevitable. So Not All Robots, number 2, our number 1 pick this week with 4 solid shields out of 5. All right, so there's our top picks for this week. So what do we have going on for this week's releases?
All right. This week's release is a little bit light. Not a whole lot of stuff for us this week. I guess there's 4 things worth mentioning. Kang the Conqueror, number 2. Curious to see where they go with that. Same thing with X-Men Trial of Magneto, number 2. He's been accused of killing the Scarlet Witch. I don't know why he would do that, but hey. You have the Commissioner Gordon book, which is really titled The Joker, number 7 comes out. And the Teen Titans get a new book called Titans United, number 1. EMoney's not a big Titans fan.
I'm not as into them.
I like the Titans. I like all team books. So I'm looking forward to that.
All right, so there you have our recommendations for this week. Like I said, be sure to comment, give us your reviews for things. If you have a Shang Chi review, let us know about it. And give us some recommendations if you have any. All right, so that does it for this. So let's head back outside with Thor. All right, we're back out here in the heat with Thor.
He's not happy about the heat.
No,
Guess what?
Yeah.
The old man ain't happy about it either.
All right, so let's get this on. Thor's being camera shy. All right, we're gonna let him move around a little bit. All right, in honor of our Shang-Chi review, I have a Shang-Chi related question.
He was the master of Kung Fu.
Okay, that is true, but that's not the question.
Okay, I'm letting this beast loose.
Okay.
We're in the yard.
Can't hold on to him any longer?
He's tearing my legs out.
Okay. He's free. He's running around.
Thor! All right.
All right. In the movie, Shang-Chi's father is Zhu Wenwu, and I probably butchered that name pronunciation, but that's what I have written down.
Okay, what's your point?
Also known as the real Mandarin. But what was Shang-Chi's father's name in the original comic books?
I hate him, I really do. I'll go with Fred.
That is incorrect. Yeah. His name in the original Shang-Chi comic books was...
If you say Fu Manchu, I'm going to punch you right in the nose.
That's what it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No.
Why didn't you say that before?
Because it can't be his name. That was the guy in a whole new other stories.
Shang-Chi was the son of the crime lord who rebelled against his father and his evil organization. As the character of Fu Manchu was a stereotypically racist portrayal of an Asian character, Marvel began to distance themselves from the character.
As well they should.
And even retconned Shang-Chi's comic father into a new character, sorcerer Xing Zhu, who had used Fu Manchu as an alias.
Well, I'm saying I got it right.
Okay.
The fact that it actually is Fu Manchu is just ridiculous. Yeah, they needed to change that. That's garbage.
All right, that about does it for this episode. Sorry you don't get to see as much of Thor as you usually do.
He's being a you-know-what.
I think he's hanging out in the shade over there.
Don't blame him.
All right, we'll see you guys next week for more comic reviews and previews. Looking forward to the next Marvel movie. I'm not sure if it's an MCU movie, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I'm still confused
MCU,
as to where it
MCU,
lies.
who knows?
Yeah, is it MCU or not? I'm not sure. So looking forward to that, and even after Venom, we got 2 more Marvel movies before the year is out. So really excited, looking forward to it. We'll have our reviews of all of them, and don't forget to tune in to our reaction videos for What If this Wednesday, or actually later today if you're watching this on Wednesday afternoon. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Excelsior.
True believers, if you're a son or a daughter and you make your dad sit out in the heat, bad kids, bad.